last few lessons we were talking about the verb conjugations. Like, so uh, we've gone through all three tenses, Maldi, Mudari, and So now it was your time to practice them. So the book gave you a plenty of them, right? So if you have done some of them, there's no other way. This is like math. Someone can explain to you the rules, how this thing works, but at the end of the day, for math you have to do them, right? So these exercises, especially these conjugations, are something that you have to do. And I think I reminded you last time that when you do them, please don't stay silent, because this is one thing that even I have done this mistake. You just write them down, kataba, katabtu, katabti. You're writing them down, but you're not speaking, or not speaking, you're not pronouncing them out loud. That's a mistake, because the sound has to catch in your ear. Okay, so more of them you do, and then you will see the pattern. All of them, kataba, kharaja, dakhala, shajada, all of them has same pattern, and then you will know this will be so much useful than just simply writing them. You understand? جيد. So for next one we have التدريب الرابع عشر. So 14th exercise, it says أكمل كما في المثال. uh, complete as in the example. Okay, so now they're giving you ismul mausul. We know what ismul mausuls are. They're the relative pronouns, right? We've studied them before in this book many times. So if alladhi is we use for what? Singular masculine, right? Alladhi we use for singular masculine. What about allati? Allati we use for singular feminine. Alladhani we use for dual masculine, and allatani we use for dual female, and alladhina is plural masculine, and allati is plural feminine. If you know these things, then you can easily make this conjugation. This is not a big deal, right? So we have alladhi. What are you going to say? Alladhi would be huwa. So once you know huwa, then you know how to conjugate. You will be alladhi shariba, who drank. When you say allati, this would be here. So what verb conjugation are you going to be using? Shari, but. Okay, so if alladhani, now we have huma. Uh, okay, this should also be huma and hum and hunna. Okay, hunna. So we have huwa, shariba, here, sharibat. These two we know. There's no problem. We've studied them before. So now how do we say huma? For two, you say shariba. So we have to have this alif. This alif indicates that we're talking about two people, because you see, it's exactly the same thing as shariba. If you say shariba, one person drank. If you say shariba, now we know that, okay, so you may be talking about two people, right? So and then when you say shariba, this is for masculine. Here you will see the huma makes a difference, right? So for the feminine huma, you say sharibata. What do? You add the ta and then alif. Here you just added alif. Here you add ta and alif. Some people might think about, you can make an analogy that the feminine version had the ta, sharibat. So two feminine version should also have ta. So you can think of like that. But honestly, just memorize these things. And alladina, it's for whom. You say for the past name, you add wow. Okay, wow, and this extra alif. So you say sharibu. Okay, and then for the feminine, hunna sharibna. Okay, hunna sharibna. Get it? Shariba, huwa shariba, hiya sharibat, huma shariba, huma for feminine, sharibata, and then whom, sharibu, hunna sharibna. So now what is got to do with alladhi? Because all of this ismul mausul, they're connected with these pronouns. So going through this one, I'll just do one more, kataba. So how do you say kataba? Kataba was kataba. So now how do we say here? She wrote. Katabat. Katabat. Just like sharibat. Huma. They too wrote. So we say kataba. Kataba with the one alif. And huma for two feminine wrote. Katabata. Katabata sounds funny, right? Katabata. Katabata. Right? Now, how do we say? Let me give you. Let me ask you guys. How do you say they wrote in the plural form? Easy, guys. Very easy. Katabu. Yes, katabu. And how do we say for the female plural? You say katabna. Here you have to be careful. You say katabna. Fi katabna. You cannot say katabna. If you make it into long, then we talking about plural first person. Tricky. Quickly, just one more, and then I will move on. Samia, which is the same thing as Samia. Samiat. Okay, Samiat. So how do you say they too heard? Huh? Samia. Samia with the yes, good, with the alif. Then for the female, you just say Sami'ata. And for whom they heard, hmm? Sami'u, right? Sami'u. Sami'na. Be careful with the pronunciation. Sami'na. Uh, Verb conjugations or even noun conjugations, it's math, need practice, nothing else, nothing more fancy, just need practice. So next we have at-tadrib al-khamis, khamis ashara. So we have the 15th exercise. It says udkhul. No, this is a different verb. Adkhala. This is fine. Adkhala verb is like that. Yes, adkhil. So this is this is very interesting. Actually, even it got me confused. So dakhala is to enter. What is adkhala means? Even at least this much you should get it for me, because I've explained this Hamza usage a lot of times. No, be careful. That's why I want to spend a little bit of time here. Dakhala, dakhala is to enter. So what is ad khala? Ad khala means, what do you say? I enter would be ad khulu. It's very tricky verb. Now that I'm looking at it, this is a whole nother verb. Just like hadara, ahdara, it's the same thing, whole nother verb. So what happens when we add a hamza to a verb? Yes, it becomes the form 4, but what does it mean? What is the meaning it gives you? It means that it makes it into transitive, meaning dakhala meaning someone entering, and adkhala would be to make someone enter. Okay, so here adkhala is the verbs adkhala, meaning you make al enter, al of Kamari enter on those letter on those words, right? Anyway, this is not the topic, but I just wanted to make you aware that we have two verbs, dakhala and adkhala. Dakhala means to enter, adkhala is to make it enter. Now, so basically they want you to put alif lam on these things. Okay, so we just put the one that is Kamari here and the one is Shamsia here. Okay, so we've been skipping this one. They're giving a lot of exercises. If you really need help, you should pay attention. If not, if you have done them in your Arabic reading course, you're fine. Ta'arif, because it gets confused because it should be a sukun, but why he cannot put a sukun here? Who can tell me? Ta'arraf, this would be a command verb. Why cannot he put a sukun here? Because we have alif lam. We talked about this one, and that's why we have a kasra. So basically, they want you to know if you know the names of these letters or not. It's not my concern. You can learn them. It's very easy. I think only this letter has a lot of people don't know what's the name of this letter. Anybody knows what's the name of this letter here? Yeah, that's the sound. But what is the name of the letter? So for example, but the name of the letter is Fa'un. Fa would be Fa'un. So what is the name of this letter? It will be Zai, not Za. I don't know spelling, but the pronunciation is Zai. It's not Za. Okay, you don't say Za'un. No, that's not the name of the letter. Nonetheless, it's not that super important, so that's what it is. Next, we have at-tadrib al-sabi ashara, the 17th exercise, ta'bir shafawi. So it is a verbal exercise expression. So it says, ajib an hadhihi al-as'ila, answer these questions. The first question says لماذا نجلس أمام التلفزيون? Why do we لماذا, you know, right? Why do we sit in front of the television, front of the TV? You know, you can write whatever you want. You can say لأشاهد لنشاهد, because we want to see لنشاهد لنشاهد. Here's the thing. نشاهد نشاهد is, what does نشاهد means? Huh? Who can translate this word for me? شاهد يشاهد, to watch. So we are watching, yes. No, either the testify and witness, this would be shahida. 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 Okay, but we have the verb shahada, which is to watch. So when you say nushahidu, this is the same thing what in English we would watch, that I'm watching TV. I'm watching something. Okay, that's exactly the same verb. If you want to say I'm watching TV, you will say ushahidu, I'm watching a television. So the verb is present is nushahidu. But when you add this lam, li nushahida, this is when it changes. I'm not going to explain why, but whatever, I think the book, we found this situation a few times in the book. So I just wanted to point that out. So li here means because, okay? Li nushahida, because we watch what? Anything you want to say. Barnamej is a program, so that we can watch a Barnamej Islamia, we can watch Islamic program, whatever, right? You can make things up. ما القصة التي قرأتها وأعجبتك كثيرا? Just translate, I'll be happy. One of the things that I told you, is unfortunate that in this class we're not doing the conversation. I'm more focused on reading. So right now there's no way I can bring up the conversation, but at least if you know the meanings, if you're understanding, I'm fine. So whoever can translate this one, I'll be happy. Okay, the story which you read is very deep. Okay, so excellent attempt. Only thing is ajaba. I warned you tons of time that be careful with this verb. This verb is very interesting. So ajaba means pleased. So something that pleased you a lot. So what is the story which you read and you liked it a lot, or it pleased you a lot? Okay, why am I saying a lot? Because of the kathiran. Look, the book actually wants you to kind of understand this type of sentence from now on. So that's pretty good. So the next one, so you can just name any story, that's something that you read, you liked, you know, anything. ماذا تفعل أسرتك في المساء? What did you do with your family in the evening? Okay, good, close, but there's a few issues. You got a lot of words meaning there. Very nice. So few things. Number one is not did, because it is present tense, right? Number two, it's good. Good is because, you know, this ta, we know that it's for you, so you're getting that. So you're saying what did you do, or what you're doing with the family, you have this kind of meaning. But what do you think is ta is here for? There's another purpose for this ta, and that's why I warned you, every time you see a verb, make sure you know the subject. If you don't know the subject, you'll get into trouble. Do you see the subject? Subject is here is feminine. Yes, this usra. This is, here's our dhamma. So it's not that you is the subject, she is the subject. So she is referring to the family. So it's not like what do you do, it's what is your family, or what does your family, you see, usra tuka, what does your family do in the evening? Very tricky, but see, it's very important that you pay attention to these things, you find frustration, and then, you know, you look into these matters. Okay, so one of the things that I found very important, and that all the teachers, all the books will tell you, that, you know, try to look for the you see a verb, you better know who's the subject. Okay, that's important. And if you can see a dhamma, well, you are in your luck. Once you find the dhamma, you know your subject, then there's no more confusion. So that's what it is. So next one we have Fahmul Masmu', which is understanding of the listening. We don't have the listening elements, so I'll just quickly, very quickly go through them, and then because we don't have the material, so we cannot do the listening, I'll just look for if there's any word or sentence we need to know. See, li yushahida. When you have a li, then it will be in the accusative case. Nothing is important here. You know them. Li anna. Who can tell me what does li anna means? Did we have li anna? Because, good. Yes, because. Excellent. Okay, بكون قرأ مجموعة من القصص لأن الولد أطال. Who remembers أطال? If you don't, make sure you know أطال is to prolong. I remember اختصر. We had this one. لأن الولد غبي. Who remembers what غبي means? وكثير الكلام. So a lot of these things are coming from in the past exercise, so there's no need for me to go through word by words and translate. Gabi is stupid, right? We had them before. As-sa'atu sadis the masan. Subhanallah, how many times we have done the times, right? Then we have يقرأ مجموعة قصص. We don't know what they're talking about, but these are very easy. We've done them before. يكتب. So it's probably is asking, did he read the stories, or he wrote the stories? Yushahidu, or he saw the story. Doesn't matter. Yal'ab, you should know yal'ab is to play. Bisayyarati saghirati. Okay, so all of them are very easy. I am just trying to quickly go through them. La aqra La aqra al-qisasa al-arabiyya. So here you have to be a little bit careful in Arabic. I'll just mention one thing. When you say la, as you know, the la goes with what verb? La means no, but what do we use it with? We use it with the present tense. Okay, present tense. La aqra'u, la aktubu, la yaqra'u. So I don't read. I don't, he doesn't read. So we use la to say to negate the present tense, right? So, but the problem happens if you don't put this comma here, then then we'll think that you are saying the la aqra'u al-qisas al-arabiyya, that I don't read Arabic stories. You get it? But if you put a comma, then you say la. No. Aqra'u al-qisas al-arabiyya. I read the Arabic stories. So this comma, this pause is important. You get it? Now. Simple. Ahduru. Who remembers what hadara yahduru means? So many times I've spent. It's to attend, right? I don't see anything else important here. Al-walidu. It wasn't al-walidul ghabi. It was al-waladul ghabi. Okay, they also put it here, but I think this was the answer. Anyway, the stupid boy, right? So I don't see anything interesting here in terms of the verbs or the nouns or the sentence structure, so we can quickly skip them. Then we have taghsilu thiyab, ghasala, to wash. Tushahidu, we've been talking about. Takhitu is to sew and stitch. And okay, last one question is, what is tu'iddu? You have adda ya'iddu. Ya'iddu. Okay, and you have adda yu'iddu. You see, it's like if you don't have haraka, especially for the present tense, you have no clue which one is what. So, and I want you guys to memorize them together, because these two verbs are extremely common, extremely important, and even now it gives me confusing. So without the context, I don't think even Arab would know which one to use. So what is adda ya'iddu? It means to count. You count something, you're counting money, you're counting something. And you can use this count also as, like, just like how in English we say I'm count, to consider. You can say I count him as my friend, meaning I consider him as my friend. This would be like secondary way usage, but the primary usage of adda is to count. Okay, but adda, what is that? Adda, yu'iddu. This one we have done in the book many times. Tu'iddu ta'am. Yeah, to make something count. Yes. That's good. If you think of like that, at least you somehow you will get the meaning, but often you will find there is another there's meaning there already. So it will be prepare. Okay, so she is preparing the food. تعد الطعام. And you know that this is not the subject because it has a fatha. So remember what I said, you have to know, you have to find the subject. How do you know subject? Is the ta'am subject? No, it's not the subject. So we have to assume two things. The subject either would be you or either would be she. So we can make a clever judgment that it is she. So she is preparing the food. We can say you are preparing the food. That's not, it's not going to be wrong if we don't have a context, but I think better would be she is preparing the food. Yeah, that's good. No, keep that thing in your mind, what the hamza does. It's very important, and you will see how it's important that is. So anytime you add hamza to a three-letter verb, you make it into transitive. It's that same thing you're doing to someone else. Jalasa, I sit. Ajlasa, I'm making someone sit. Dakhala, I enter. Adkhala, I'm making someone enter. You have to know this. Okay. So we have atadib tasi. Last one is imla. We don't. You know what imla is in Arabic studies? Imla, they mean when they say imla, it means that it's a dictation, meaning they will be reading something to you, you will be hearing it, and you have to write it. That's not easy. You have to write it, whatever they're saying, and then later you will see how much did you get from it. So it's not only your reading, listening comprehension, it is actually your writing, how fast you can even write. So it's a very difficult one, but we don't even have the material, so we don't know how to do them. That's not the point. So that concludes, Alhamdulillah, that concludes our, what chapter was that? 23. Any questions?